5 to 10 more games a year when he's healthy. But what happened was he had this mystery ailment. It kept him off the field for a while in 2011. They never really explained it as an organization. And then in 2013 to 14, he starts having concussions, and that changed everything.
Yep.
And I think he had a bad year in 2015 because he was still dealing with concussion symptoms. 2017, he had a very good year, which indicates that, hey, he was finally getting over the concussions and getting back to being his old self. If he had been using steroids, why would he have only had one year where he hit home runs? If you use steroids and win the MVP award, wouldn't you keep using steroids?
I think
here's the problem is that the change in ballparks. In the Metrodome, every line drive he hit went to the gap. Every hard ground ball he went scooted through the infield, and his low line drives to left field could scoot out over the 8-foot fence and be a home run. He moves to target field. The ground balls are now slowed down by the grass and they're outs. The line drives to the gap now are slowed down and are singles instead of doubles. And the line drive to left field that was a home run is now either an out or a double.
I think that when he won the MVP in 2009, that Twins fans, including myself, expected him to almost hit 28 home runs a year, and he's just not that player. And I think that's what kind of hurt him as well, is the expectation was, oh, well, why his average is good. Like you said, he batted over 300 last year. But that was always a given for Joe because Joe was such a good hitter. But the power aspect was the wild card. That's when he really started to take the league by storm. Another thing is people forget how good of a defensive catcher he was. I mean, he was throwing guys out. I'll never forget. Do you remember this play against the Yankees? I forget. Someone bunted it. I think it was Brett Gardner. I think he tagged out Gardner. He faked the throw to second and ran back. There was a runner on third, and he tagged out and dove and got the out at home. Do you remember that?
Great play. Yeah, and he made a lot of plays like that on foul pops, sliding. He hurt himself as a rookie in 2004, which probably cost him about 200 hits and some Hall of Fame consideration by sliding and making a great play on that kind of that fake. I don't know what surface, that was kind of the warning track by the dugout.
Right.
And, that's the thing. Very few people have been the combination of hitter and catcher that Joe Mauer was in his prime.
Let's switch gears here. Last two, and I'll let you go. I want to talk about the Timberwolves real quick. One question on them, and then we'll get to the Wild real quick with the season opening up tomorrow. So Jimmy Butler, it's been the talk of the town. When he came to Minnesota, first of all, the Wolves were a 31-win team before he came. 46 wins last year. Missed the end of the season. Could have been more. Now, with the Lakers adding LeBron James, you got to assume they'll be in the playoffs. Where do you think this team stands, assuming Butler doesn't play with this team this year?
My projection was going to be, and listen, we're all guessing. Nobody really knows. My projection was going to be if Jimmy Butler played 82 games, this team would have a chance at a third or a fourth seed. If Jimmy Butler got hurt like he usually does and misses about 15 games, then it's probably a 5 or maybe a 4 or 5, 6 seed. No Jimmy Butler, having to make a trade, maybe not getting value, having a better bench, a team that understands Tibbs' system better, Derrick Rose for a full year. I think it's probably 7, 8, 9. It still could be a good team, but it's not going to have the high upside that it would have had if Butler had played and played well.
100% agree. Okay, betting out here is now legal in Jersey. Everyone knows that.
Yay.
Okay, over-under for the Wild this year, 95 points. I might take a trip down to Monmouth. What do you think here? 95 seems really, like I can totally see 94, 96. What do you feel about the Wild this year?
I'm going to go under. I thought that Boudreau did a great job managing that team and its problems last year and guiding it into the playoffs despite a lot of problems. I can't see Ryan Suter being the same player, at least not right away.
Agreed.
Parisi's another year older. Koivu's another year older. They're not a fast team. With the exception of Zucker, they're not a fast team. The young guys they hope would become stars like Granlund, Niederreiter, Dumba. They're good. They're still good young players, but they're not stars. And you're really relying on Dubnyk to be great and stay healthy. They're on a razor's edge. If everything goes well, maybe they reach 100 points. But if anything goes wrong, I think they're down to 90 points.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of questions this year. I mean, you talked about the young guys. Dumba has really blossomed. I will say that. Granlund's been consistent, but Nino Niederreiter, Charlie Coyle, I mean, those guys just have to step up this year if the Wild are willing to try to actually win a playoff series. We asked for a lot with that. So, Jim, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, you guys can catch our podcast. He runs the network. He's on with Michael Russo, Cheryl Reeves, John Krasinski. Awesome shows. Be sure to check them out. Jim, thanks you for giving me the time.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. I'll see you.
All right, with the season opened up already, I know it's recording on a Wednesday, so for me, the season starts tomorrow, Thursday night against the Avs. This comes out on a Sunday. I want to talk a little about the Wild. I need a break. I just need a break from the Vikings. Seriously, I need a break from the Vikings. I don't know what else to say. We say the same stuff every single time. It's been a weird year. The defense doesn't seem like it's the defense of the last couple of years. Xavier Rhodes looks lost. Looks like Terrence Newman's retirement, it was a little premature. He should have stayed with the team because it doesn't look like Mackenzie Alexander. Mike Hughes is a nice player, rookie, obviously, give him some time. But Mackenzie Alexander, I mean, these guys, I don't know what happened. Maybe Brian Roberson. I know he didn't play a lot, but he was a veteran guy in that locker room. Everson Griffin doesn't help. But if they don't figure out this defense, this team might win 5-6 games. And I'm not joking. I am not joking. If you look at that schedule and you look at the way the defense has been playing, I mean, Kirk Cousins in the offense, you can't ask for much more from them, scoring 31 points on the road in L.A. If you would have told me that the Vikings would have scored 31 points in that Thursday night game, I would have been like, man, I knew that the Rams offense was good, right? But I didn't think the Viking defense was this poor. So let me move on to that. There's a lot of stuff going on. The Paul Molitor thing really bothers me, to be completely honest with you. AL Manager of the Year last year, Jim Souhan just talked about it. I mean, Dad Levine, he couldn't wait to fire Paul Molitor. And Jim said it. One of the smartest guys in baseball, one of the smartest guys he's covered. He's an icon in Minnesota. He took this team that had zero business being in the playoffs last year into one. And quite frankly, they had a legitimate chance of beating the Yankees. They should have, up 3-0 in the first inning. And then Irvin Santana comes in and completely lays an egg. But come on now. So now they're going to go this analytical route. So I don't know what's going to happen with the manager stuff. I don't know what's going to happen with the future of this team. I don't know what direction they're going into, but they have taken a huge step back after making the playoffs last year. All right, positive stuff. Here we go. Minnesota Wild season opening up. There had been the one consistent team in this whole state, other than the Lynx, getting to the playoffs 6 straight years. Obviously, we know that. Bruce Boudreau coming back for his 3rd year. A lot of questions on this team. Is Ryan Suter going to be the Ryan Suter of last year, where he has been unbelievable, flat out, just a stud. I don't know what he's going to be when he comes back from his ankle injury. The rumor is, this is what Michael Russo was telling me, that I guess he's limping when he comes off the ice, but it's because of a different problem. It's not because he doesn't limp or has a limp on the ice, but it's easier for him to skate than walk. I don't know about all that stuff, but that's that with Ryan Suter. He's a huge part of this team. He's been the anchor on defense, lodging 28 minutes a game, so he's a huge part of if this season is going to be successful. And then you got your Charlie Coyles and your Nino Niederreiters of the world. Can Charlie Coyle, please, who are we going to give more time to? Charlie Coyle or Byron Buxton? Charlie Coyle has been talked about like he was going to score 25, 30 goals for the last 5 years, as Brett Burns is just soaking up the sun in San Jose. Nino Niederreiter, another one. He showed life a couple of years ago. He was really good for the Wild. 25, 30 goals, and in the playoffs against Colorado was dominant. He's taken a step back with his injury stuff. I just want to see this Wild team healthy. Can I get a clean slate of health? And I know I saw that Michael Russo tweeted that the Wild all have, 12 players have the cold, and they didn't practice on Tuesday. A good start to the year, of course. Give me this team healthy. Let's just see how they do. A healthy Coyle, a healthy Nino, and they were banged up. Okay, I give them that. I want to see a healthy Minnesota Wild team compete. By the way, Wild trade Gustav Olsson to Montreal for forward Will Britton. Okay, Wild acquire prospects. Just got that on my phone. Devin Dubnyk enters his 5th year. He's been statistically one of the best since coming to Minnesota. He's a huge part of this team's success as always. Devin Dubnyk, I'm waiting for him to have that, and I know he was unbelievable when he came to Minnesota. He's been consistently good, nothing great. I expect a great season from this guy. Vienza type season from Devin Duvnik. And then you have your young guys. Is Jordan Greenway, is he going to step up this year? We saw a little preview of him in the playoffs against Winnipeg. He's got the talent. He definitely has the speed, he has the size, he has the strength, he has the skill. You saw that on full display against Winnipeg, throwing his body around. He scored a cheapie, I know, in Game 3. I was at that game. But Jordan Greenway has a chance to be a big part of this team, and the Wild need him to desperately. Same with Luke Cunnin. Luke Cunnin's coming off an ACL tear. Is he going to be able to come right in and step up? You know what you're getting, I would say, from guys like Zucker, Granlund, Dumba. You know what you're getting from those core, those three, I would say. But everyone else, and I'm serious when I say it, what am I going to get from Zach Parise? Am I going to get a healthy Zach Parise throughout the year who has that extra jump in his step and is forechecking and getting dirty goals and in front of the net on the power play? Are we going to get that Zach Parise, or are we going to get the one that's always constantly injured? Are we going to get an Eric Staal that had 42 goals last year? You can't expect Staal to have more than 30 this year after a resurgence. I mean, that was just an unbelievable year by Eric Staal. You can't expect him to go past 30 this year. I mean, you can't be mad if he doesn't get past 30 this year. I expect 20, 25, 30, 25, 30. No, not 20. 25, 30 for Eric Staal. And then you got some other question marks. Marcus Foligno. He's shown some good stuff, some bad stuff. Jonas Brodin, he's been disappointing. Jared Spurgeon was another one that really faded towards the end of the season. He ended up getting hurt. Obviously, we know that. But offensively, Jared Spurgeon, I expect a lot more from. Joel Eriksson-Ek. I mean, there are a lot of young players on this team, but a lot of them are unproven. And Jim said it, that the Wild aren't a particularly fast team this year. So I don't know how to make it up. I mean, I don't know how. What do you just forecheck hard? Your Corsi shot needs to be up in more of a higher percentage. I don't know if you don't have speed. I mean, you better make up for it in a lot of ways. I know they have good size, but I don't know. I mean, this is a team that really won. I think when they were at their best, I think were very fast. They're a very fast team with Boudreau. They had some guys, and then they got slower towards the end of the season in 2016 or 2016 when they went out and got Hansel. I thought that was just terrible pickup. By the way, it ruined the season. But they got a lot slower. So I'll read you the first couple lines that are projected for the Wild. Let me see here. Line combinations for the Minnesota Wild. Let's see what they got here. So Granlund, Koivu, Nino, Zucker, Eriksson-Ek, Coyle. These aren't the lines. I'm just saying that this is just some of the roster that I'm going to be reading here. You got some guys here. You have talent. That's the most frustrating part, I think, for a lot of Wild fans is you have the talent here. Eric Staal, Mikko Koivu, Eriksson-Ek, Zucker, Parise, Niederreiter, Granlund, Coyle, and you got some new faces: J.T. Brown, Eric Fair, Greg Patterin. The defense is. I'm excited to watch the defense. To be completely honest with you, Ryan Suter, Matt Dumba, Jonas Brodin, Jared Spurgeon, Nick Seeler, and then you throw in Greg Patterin or Nate Prosh. That's good. I mean, that's a good back end. It's a very good back end. But up the center, who are they going to be the guys? Koivu's 34, 35 years old now. Stahl's 33 years old, 34 years old. You got a lot of age, and I think that's where the speed aspect is a little concerning because you have some aging players that don't have the wheels that they used to be. Don't get me wrong. When Stahl's out in a breakaway, he can fly, but you need playmakers, and you only got a handful of those, I think, with the puck, and that's Granlund and Zucker, those type of stuff. Dumba, those couple guys, those three guys are going to have huge years for this team to be back in the playoffs. There's a lot of people that aren't picking the Wild to make it to the playoffs this year. 95 is the over-under. I talked about it with Jim earlier. I don't know if I want to touch that. I think that is so close to what it's going to be. I know they've surpassed